What's up guys, Spin Firearms here, and today we're going to be comparing just a couple firearms side by side. The Glock 26, which I have 13 variants, is my favorite go-to to carry. I just love the Glock 26, super versatile, super smooth shooter. And its budget clone brother, the Stoeger STR-9SC. Now, both of these firearms have been unloaded prior to the video. They always are. They're always safety checked, right? But these are very, very similar firearms, yet very different, right? When you look at them from the outside, you would say, oh, those are two completely different firearms. But obviously, once you look on the inside, that's where the clone part comes in. This is a Glock clone. It uses a very similar mechanism to the Glock, which, as we all know, basically their patent ran out, so all these other companies could jump onto the board, jump on boat, and take it and use it in their own products, and that's exactly what happened. But that doesn't necessarily make it a bad thing. It sort of helps us out as a consumer. But let's look at my Glock 26. This is a 12+1 setup. Has no rail. Has a decent trigger, actually. For a Glock trigger, my Glock 26s tend to have some decent triggers. Just like the slimlines. The slimline Glocks tend to have better triggers. I don't know why it is. But this is 12+1, and I can fit, 2.5 fingers on it. Get a good purchase for those people who are wondering. But my Glock 26 have been 100% reliable, and this was actually a Glock rebuild. I have a full video of how I turned this optics ready with the slide and stuff and actually made money on it. That video is up, and you guys could do the same if you find a rebuild. And all my Glock rebuilds have been flawless. Not a single issue, not a single hiccup, because they are Glock issued rebuilds. Stoeger STR-9SC obviously is made in Turkey. Uses the same design, but basically is a budget version. This is about $250, so about half the price of this Glock. And basically it is the same exact size. 10+1 on the right, 12+1 on the left, but I am using an aftermarket base plate on the left. So if I was using the original flush, it would look pretty similar. Look at the width, look at the length. And I just think these are great firearms, because these are not the lightest firearm in the world. They're the thick boys, they're the subcompacts that are thick, just like this right here. But that thickness of that slide, that weight of that slide really helps recoil. And on top of that, I said $250. If you notice, one thing about it is that trigger is different. It's like a flat face with a little curved. I actually really like the trigger on this. Now, it is heavier than my Glock. It is not a better trigger. It is a similar trigger. I'm just talking about the feeling of the actual trigger face. This also comes with a rail, because a lot of people's number one complaint about the Glock 26 is that it has no rail. This comes with forward serrations on a Gen 3 clone, which the Gen 3 Glocks don't come with forward or front serrations. You would have to get an aftermarket slide or get it sent away, and these do. Now, they also come with 3-dot sights that are metal, whereas your Glock is going to come with just plastic sights, which I have my new sights ordered for my 42, but that's what they would look like. And it also comes with some texturing. Now, you can change out the back strap on the Gen 3, which you can't do that until Gen 4 for the 26. So there are a bunch of good things that this Stoeger STR-9SC has going for it. The one thing I will say it doesn't, though, it doesn't have the magazine compatibility that the 26 has. The 26 can go from the 10-round mag all the way to the Glock 33-round mag, and that's just unbeatable. Nobody's been able to beat that. The XDM has gotten close, but they just don't have as many options. But you just can't beat that. You can use the larger Stoeger mags, but I think there's only 3 sizes you can put in this. But you're never going to need more than 17 rounds in a handgun, especially for everyday carry. Home defense may be a different story, but for everyday carry, that's getting close to breaking the law at that point if you're in that extended of a shootout. But what I was very surprised with is how everything functions so flawlessly on this. It feels really good in the hand. All the controls work really well, and it feels just more of a quality build. I don't know if you guys have held the Torch G3C or shot the G3C, but I have 2 of them, and the finish doesn't hold up, and there's just something about them that sort of feels a little cheap. I'm not saying they're bad firearms. They're great firearms. That's why I own like 6 Tauruses or 7 Tauruses, but there's just something about them that feels cheaper. When I picked up my Stoeger, which is my second Stoeger, you can tell the quality is somewhere in between Glock and Taurus, right? It's going to be better in Taurus, but it's not going to quite be a Glock. On top of that, they use a stainless steel guide rod, which helps for a longer lasting firearm, and that is a crucial part. Glock still uses the same exact dual captive guide rod on their 26s and subcompact lines, literally all the way from their Glock 26, 27, 28, 33 and 39 all use the exact same guide rods across the platform and generations. It's a little ridiculous, but they don't use stainless steel. Stoeger made their stainless steel. So honestly, this has been an awesome pickup. The number one downside, though, I will say, is it only comes with one mag. But for $250 that you're spending on this, by the time you get another mag and another holster, you'll be at $350 or whatever. And that's fine for an everyday carry setup that's reliable and a good shooter. 10+1 setup. You can throw a light on there, whatever the case may be. It also takes Glock sights. But another thing is, it's hard to get the Stoeger mags. And I've had a lot of people mention that. And it's honestly just hit or miss. Sometimes you'll find them, sometimes you won't. And I get that. So that is the one downside. Even though they're really well-made magazines, they are hard to find. The Glock 26, though, is just a superior firearm overall. Glocks, just from the polls I've put out and from the comments I've received and from the things people tell me, people just say, they'll say they branched out. They went to a different brand. And that was a mistake. They said they sold their Glock because it's outdated, and people are saying, it's no longer relevant because you have all this other stuff. Well, all this other stuff isn't running the way a Glock runs. Glocks just tend to run. And so this being a budget version of a Glock clone, it's going to have a similar function. So it's just going to have less quality parts in it. Whereas a Glock, you can't really beat it for its price when it comes to saving your life. Yeah, you're going to get a mushy trigger. Yeah, in this case, you're going to get no rail. But this is a great firearm overall. It checks almost every box in every category on every list. And the aftermarket support is just unbelievable. You can get Glock mags anywhere, any size, for basically any price. I found a Glock mag for $11 the other day. So shout out to the person who put that in the comments, because I went and took advantage of that. But you can't go wrong with either of them. People just wanted to see the side-by-side between the two of them, because they know I love the Glock 26. But these are great firearms for, a lot of people keep them in their boats locked up, or a lot of people keep a truck firearm, or a lot of people keep a garage gun, or a lot of people have a firearm that's just dedicated to sitting in one place of their house or one area of their, land, or whatever the case may be, in case they needed to get to something. And I think this is a great example of it. I mean, I have no problem. I would carry this. As long as it tests reliable and eats the hollow points that I'm using, I would run this. Because honestly, it feels really good in the hand. It's just a very even, balanced firearm. And like I said, I really like that trigger. And I like all the room that they left me for a gloved finger in the winter. I really like that. That's big to me, especially with where I live for the time being. But yeah, this is just one of those firearms that, you spend $240, $250 on. It's not going to break the bank. It's not going to hurt you if you mess it up. It's, it's just going to be one of those firearms. Hey, I got a beater, and it's going to be reliable and there for when I need it. So that's the Stoeger STR-9SC compared to my Glock 26. Basically the same firearm, different brands, cheaper parts, cheaper quality. Just is what it is, but there's nothing wrong with that. We love to see the competition. So thanks for watching, guys. Drop a comment down below, subscribe, hit that like button.